You start wondering, did they see it? Did I say something wrong? That feeling of uncertainty can be frustrating, even discouraging. But here's the good news. Getting a response isn't just about luck, it's about psychology. In today's world, where messages get buried under endless notifications, the key to standing out is understanding the psychological triggers that make people want to engage. Curiosity, anticipation, and validation. These emotions drive human interaction, and when used authentically, they make your messages irresistible. In this video, we're diving into 7 simple yet powerful messaging techniques that tap into these natural psychological responses. Whether reconnecting with someone, sparking attraction, or strengthening a relationship, these strategies will help you craft messages people can't ignore. And make sure to stay until the end, because the final technique, it's a total game changer. Let's see if you're ready to transform how you communicate and get more genuine, engaging conversations. 1. Capturing curiosity with the perfect opener. Curiosity is one of the most powerful psychological triggers. When something is left unsaid or slightly ambiguous, the mind naturally seeks a resolution. This is why an intriguing opener can grab attention and spark genuine interest in a conversation. Most men default to predictable openers like, "Hey, how are you?" or "It's been a while," which lack impact and fail to generate excitement. Instead, crafting an opener that teases curiosity while maintaining authenticity makes all the difference. Imagine receiving a message that says, "I just remembered something about you that made me laugh today." Instantly, the mind starts racing. What was it? Why did it make them laugh? This approach is far more engaging than a simple greeting. Likewise, saying, "I was just talking about you yesterday, and it made me realize we haven't caught up in ages," adds a layer of intrigue and personal relevance that invites a response. The key to a compelling opener lies in personalization. Incorporating that into the message increases the likelihood of engagement if you know someone who enjoys a particular hobby or has a unique interest. A woman who loves hiking will likely be more drawn to, "I just walked past a trail that reminded me of your crazy adventure stories," rather than something generic. The more specific and tailored the message, the stronger the emotional connection. However, there's a fine line between intriguing and frustrating. Openers that are too cryptic, such as, "You'll never believe what I just found out about you," without a fun or engaging follow-up, can feel manipulative or exhausting. Instead, if using a bold statement like that, ensure it's immediately followed by something light-hearted and enjoyable. For example, "You'll never guess what I just learned about you. You're my go-to trivia partner whenever there's a music quiz." The magic of a great opener lies in making the other person feel special while sparking just enough curiosity to compel a response. It should hint at something worth discovering without being frustratingly vague. Conversations become more dynamic, engaging, and memorable by shifting from mundane small talk to messages that ignite genuine intrigue. 2. The power of anticipation in building deeper connections. There's a secret to keeping a woman engaged that many men overlook. It's not about extravagant gifts or grand gestures. It's about anticipation. It sparks curiosity and keeps her emotionally invested in your presence when done right. Imagine you're in the middle of a conversation and you casually say, "I just realized something about you, but I'll tell you later." Instantly, she's intrigued. Her mind starts spinning with possibilities. Did he notice something about me that others don't? What could it be? This technique works because humans crave closure. The brain hates unfinished business. By leaving just enough mystery, You create an emotional itch she can't help but scratch. Anticipation isn't just about words, it's about timing and delivery. Instead of revealing everything in one go, tease information to keep her engaged. For example, if you're planning a date, say, "I have something fun planned for us next time," instead of telling her the full plan, "You're going to love it." This plants a seed of curiosity, making her eager to discover what's next. It also builds an emotional connection because it signals you're considering shared experiences. A great way to personalize anticipation is by tying it to her interests. If she loves a particular book, you could say, "I've found something that reminds me of your favorite novel. It's so good I can't wait to show you." This makes the excitement feel tailored and genuine rather than a generic attempt to create suspense. However, there's a fine line between building anticipation and being frustrating. Overusing this technique or constantly withholding information can backfire. She'll lose interest if she feels like you're playing mind games. The key is balance. Give her enough to stay engaged, but follow your promises. If you say you'll tell her something later, actually tell her. If you hint at a surprise, deliver it. The reward has to be worth the wait. Anticipation also extends beyond conversations into actions. Little unexpected gestures can go a long way in maintaining excitement in a relationship. For instance, leaving a handwritten note with a cryptic but affectionate message like, "I have a little surprise for you tonight," sets the stage for excitement. Similarly, sending a midday text that hints at something fun in the evening keeps the energy alive. These small but intentional acts show you're invested in making the connection lively and meaningful. Another powerful aspect of anticipation is building long-term excitement. Don't reveal everything at once if you're planning a trip together. Drop little hints about unique activities you've planned or an unexpected stop along the way. This approach makes the experience feel like a journey of discovery, keeping her engaged even before the event happens. The same goes for special occasions like birthdays or anniversaries. Instead of simply stating the plan, craft a sense of mystery that draws her in. In essence, anticipation is about making interactions dynamic and engaging. It keeps the connection fresh and prevents conversations from becoming predictable. A well-placed tease here and there keeps her emotionally involved, making every moment feel more exciting. The best relationships thrive on curiosity and discovery. Master this, you'll find that keeping a woman interested becomes effortless. By embedding anticipation into your interactions, you're making things more exciting and strengthening the emotional bond, making every experience together more memorable and meaningful. 3. Connecting on a deeper level through thoughtful gestures. Small, thoughtful gestures often leave a lasting impression because they show genuine attentiveness and care. When a man pays attention to the small details in a woman's life, he communicates that he values her beyond surface-level interactions. It's not about grand romantic gestures, but the quiet, consistent actions that speak volumes. Thoughtfulness does not require an elaborate plan. It is woven into the fabric of daily life, creating a sense of warmth and trust between two people. Acknowledging personal details is one of the most powerful ways to show thoughtfulness. If she casually mentions a book she wants to read, a favorite coffee order, or an upcoming work presentation, remembering these details and following up later demonstrates attentiveness. A simple question like, "How was your meeting today?" or surprising her with that book shows that her words matter to you. This kind of active listening builds emotional trust and connection. It also signals that you see her as an individual with unique interests and aspirations, rather than just someone to impress. When done consistently, Small things create a strong foundation of emotional intimacy. Sharing relevant content that aligns with her interests adds another layer of thoughtfulness. Sending an article about a topic she's passionate about, sharing a song that reminds you of a conversation you had, or even sending a meme that matches her humor creates small yet meaningful moments of connection. These interactions show that you engage with her world beyond your time together. In today's digital age, a simple message sharing something that made you think of her can be more powerful than an expensive gift. It shows that she occupies space in your mind, even when you're apart, reinforcing the depth of your connection. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, carry immense value. Picking up her favorite snack, helping her carry something heavy, or ensuring she gets home safely after a long day might seem insignificant. Still, these gestures accumulate over time, reinforcing the idea that you genuinely care. The key is to be consistent without expectation, making thoughtfulness a natural part of your interactions rather than a tactic for validation. Genuine care is demonstrated through effort, not obligation. A man who consistently provides small comforts without seeking something in return creates a relationship dynamic that feels safe and nurturing. Consistency in these actions sets apart fleeting interest from deep emotional investment. Thoughtful gestures shouldn't be one-time events aimed at impressing someone in the moment. The sincerity behind them matters. Trust naturally follows when kindness and consideration become a pattern rather than an exception. A woman who is indeed seen and valued is likelier to develop lasting emotional attachments. When combined with reliability, thoughtfulness becomes even more powerful, proving that you follow through and stand by your word. Humor can also be a powerful tool for connection. A well-timed joke or a shared inside joke strengthens bonds in ways that words alone sometimes cannot. Sending something funny that aligns with her sense of humor can brighten her day and remind her of your connection. Laughter creates emotional safety, making interactions feel light-hearted yet intimate. A relationship that incorporates humor and playfulness allows both individuals to feel free and unguarded, deepening emotional intimacy. Respecting boundaries is perhaps the most overlooked but essential aspect of thoughtfulness. Sometimes, the most meaningful thing you can do is give her space when she needs it. Whether she's having a rough day and needs time alone, or simply values moments of solitude, recognizing and respecting that without taking it personally demonstrates emotional maturity. Thoughtfulness is about understanding, not overwhelming. It means being attentive when she needs company and distance, making her feel emotionally secure rather than pressured. Thoughtfulness in a relationship is not about obligation or duty. It is about demonstrating genuine care through small, meaningful actions. When a man consistently demonstrates attentiveness through these gestures, he naturally fosters a deeper emotional connection. These gestures don't need to be extravagant, but should always be intentional. Women remember how a man makes them feel. Simple yet sincere efforts often leave the most lasting impact. The foundation of any great relationship is built not on fleeting moments of grandiosity, but on the quiet, everyday actions that show genuine appreciation and respect. When thoughtfulness is present, trust and emotional connection flourish, creating a strong and enduring bond. 4. Turning everyday messages into memorable moments. The difference between an ordinary conversation and one that lingers in someone's mind often comes down to simple techniques. A casual message can quickly become something special with just a little creativity, making interactions more engaging and emotionally resonant. When communicating with women, The key lies in turning routine exchanges into moments that spark connection and excitement. One of the most effective ways to achieve this is by calling back to shared memories. When referencing an inside joke or an experience, you're not just making small talk, but reinforcing a connection. Saying something like, "Remember when we got lost looking for that coffee shop?" instantly brings back a moment only the two of you share. It signals that the interaction meant something to you and keeps the memory alive in her mind. This type of message feels personal and effortlessly deepens your bond. The stronger the memory, the more emotional weight it carries, making it a powerful tool to keep conversations engaging. Humor also plays a crucial role in making conversations stand out. Light sarcasm, inside jokes, and playful banter create a fun, engaging dynamic. A well-placed joke or witty remark can turn a mundane exchange into entertaining. The key is balance. If the humor is overdone or feels forced, it loses its charm. A playful comment like, "Careful, if we keep texting like this, people might think we actually like each other," keeps things light and flirtatious without being overwhelming. Humor works best when tailored to the person you're talking to. Paying attention to what she laughs at, what kind of jokes she makes, and the type of humor she enjoys can help you create a more natural and appealing conversational style. Engaging tones make a difference as well. A text can easily be flat or impersonal, but using expressive language, emojis, gifts, or voice notes adds warmth and personality. A simple "good morning" can feel vastly different when paired with a smiley face or a short voice note filled with energy. The goal is to make the interaction feel lively and authentic, rather than robotic or obligatory. People are naturally drawn to messages that feel genuine and full of life, so strategically using tools like gifts or emojis can enhance the conversation's emotional tone. Another way to leave a lasting impression is by expressing genuine appreciation. A small, thoughtful comment like, "I really appreciate having you in my life," can be surprisingly powerful. Many people overlook the impact of sincere words. When done naturally and at the right moment, showing appreciation strengthens the emotional connection and makes interactions more meaningful. If you notice something she does that you genuinely admire, mention it. A compliment beyond surface-level appearances, such as recognizing her work ethic, kindness, or passion for something, can leave a more profound mark. The balance between playfulness and depth is crucial. Conversations should never feel one-dimensional. Too much teasing without substance can feel shallow, while overly serious messages might appear intense. The best interactions flow naturally between light-hearted fun and moments of real connection. Some of the most memorable conversations are those that seamlessly blend humor, nostalgia, and genuine emotion. If you can make her laugh one moment and feel deeply understood the next, you create a dynamic that's difficult to forget. By applying these techniques, everyday messages transform into something more, something that lingers in her mind long after the conversation ends. It's not about overcomplicating things, but making each interaction feel intentional and engaging. The difference between being forgettable and leaving a lasting impression often comes down to how well you create these small but powerful moments. You naturally stand out when you consistently show that you're thoughtful, engaging, and genuinely interested in making the conversation enjoyable. Over time, these small, seemingly insignificant exchanges build an effortless and exciting connection. 5. The art of giving genuine compliments. A well-placed compliment can be powerful. It can deepen attraction, create connection, and make someone feel indeed seen. However, A compliment must feel authentic and specific to have a real impact. Too often men default to generic praise that, while well-intended, lacks depth. Telling a woman, "You're beautiful," might seem flattering, but it's a phrase she's likely heard countless times. Instead of making an impression, it blends into the background. A compliment should be something only you would say to her, highlighting what makes her uniquely captivating in your eyes. Many men also fall into the trap of focusing solely on physical appearance. While beauty is appreciated, women want to be recognized for more than just their looks. Compliments that highlight personality, intelligence, or effort carry far more weight. If she's passionate about her work, acknowledge the dedication she puts into it. If she uniquely makes people feel comfortable, tell her how much you admire that quality. The key is to notice what others might overlook and put it into words. Sincerity is non-negotiable. A compliment should never feel forced or exaggerated. People can sense when words are empty, and insincere praise does more harm than good. The best compliments come from genuine observation. If you admire something about her, say it in a way that reflects the truth of your perception. Instead of, "You're so smart," try, "I love how you analyze things from a perspective I never would have considered." Instead of, "You're so nice," say, "I appreciate how thoughtful you are. You always seem to notice the little things that matter." Humor can make a compliment even more memorable. A playful remark with a genuine core can deepen the moment. If she always has a witty response, you might say, "Your humor is so sharp, I think I need a shield." If she puts a lot of effort into something, you could joke, "Do you secretly have superpowers? Because I have no idea how you do all this so effortlessly." Timing also plays a role in how a compliment is received. The most impactful compliments are often the unprompted ones. When praise is unexpected, it carries a different kind of weight. A simple acknowledgement of something she did days ago shows you remember and appreciate her. If she gave you great advice, bring it up later and tell her how much it helped. If she made you feel at ease in a difficult moment, let her know even when the moment has passed. The unexpected nature of these compliments makes them feel even more special. Beyond words, body language and tone matter just as much as what is being said. A sincere smile, direct eye contact, and a genuine tone reinforce your message. If a compliment is spoken without warmth or enthusiasm, it may not come across as intended. A heartfelt compliment should convey an emotional resonance that makes it clear that you genuinely mean what you say. Additionally, understanding context is crucial. A well-timed compliment can brighten someone's day, but an ill-placed or excessive one can feel overwhelming or insincere. It's essential to gauge the situation and the comfort level of the person receiving the compliment. When given with consideration, a compliment can enhance trust and deepen emotional bonds. Mastering the art of giving compliments isn't about flattery, it's about making someone feel genuinely valued. The right words at the right moment can leave a lasting impression and create a real connection. It's not about saying more, but about saying what truly matters. When compliments come from a place of authenticity, they become a powerful tool in building stronger relationships and fostering meaningful connections. 6. Making someone feel truly valued. People crave to be seen for who they are, not just for what they do. Genuine connection stems from acknowledging someone's unique qualities, rather than focusing solely on their actions. Women in particular respond sincerely to being recognized in ways that transcend the surface level. It's not just about compliments or grand gestures. It's about making them feel understood, appreciated, and emotionally safe. One of the most powerful ways to achieve this is by remembering small details. When a woman shares something seemingly trivial, a childhood memory, a favorite book, an offhand remark about her day, holding on to that information and bringing it up later signals that she matters. It's the difference between hearing and truly listening. If she mentions that she loves a specific type of coffee, surprising her with it one morning shows thoughtfulness beyond words. This seemingly small act has an immense impact because it conveys genuine interest in who she is at her core, not just as someone passing through your life. Celebrating achievements, both big and small, reinforces her sense of self-worth. Many women downplay their career successes, hobbies, or personal growth. Acknowledging these moments, congratulating her on a promotion, praising the effort she put into a creative project, or even noticing her resilience during a tough week, fosters a sense of validation. It tells her she's valued not just for what she does, but for the effort and dedication she puts into her life. Furthermore, recognition should be consistent and sincere. Empty praise has little impact, but specific, heartfelt encouragement can make her feel genuinely appreciated. Empathy plays a crucial role in making her feel indeed seen. Instead of rushing to offer solutions or minimizing her feelings, validating her emotions creates a deeper connection. When she shares a frustration or concern, a response like, "That sounds tough, I can see why you feel that way," reassures her that she's not alone in her experience. Emotional security is built through understanding, not fixing. Often, women seek a safe space to express their emotions, and a man who can offer that without judgment stands out as someone she can trust and confide in. A relationship flourishes when appreciation flows both ways. When she makes an effort, whether checking in on you, offering support, or simply being present, expressing gratitude strengthens the bond. A simple "I appreciate how you always make time for me," or "I love how you bring so much warmth into my life," fosters reciprocity and mutual respect. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel valued, and this dynamic becomes the foundation of lasting attraction. It's important to express gratitude regularly, not just in big moments, but in everyday interactions. Small gestures of appreciation can create a sense of emotional intimacy that deepens the connection over time. Genuine connection isn't about grand displays of affection. It's about consistent, meaningful gestures that show her she's more than just a role in your life. When she feels deeply understood and appreciated, she will naturally be drawn to you genuinely and enduringly. This means engaging in thoughtful conversations, being present in moments that matter, and consistently showing up in ways that reinforce her importance in your life. No matter how minor they seem, actions build an unshakable foundation of trust and emotional security. Ultimately, making someone feel genuinely valued is about sincerity and presence. It requires paying attention to what makes them unique, acknowledging their feelings, and expressing appreciation in a way that resonates deeply. These small but meaningful efforts create fulfilling, strong, and lasting relationships when done authentically. 7. Subtle playfulness that creates attraction. Playfulness is an art, a subtle yet powerful force that can turn ordinary conversations into something magnetic. It's not about cracking jokes every minute or acting like a comedian. It's about adding a layer of charm and comfort that makes interactions feel effortless. Women respond to men who make them feel at ease, and a playful touch signals confidence, social intelligence, and emotional connection. A simple way to introduce playfulness is through light teasing. It should never be mean-spirited or overly sarcastic, but delivered with a warm, inviting energy. For instance, when she takes too long to text back, a playful remark like, "Should I set a timer for how long it takes you to reply?" can create a fun dynamic. It playfully calls out the behavior while showing that you're engaged and paying attention, without appearing needy or demanding. Matching her humor style is another way to create an unspoken bond. If she enjoys witty banter, lean into it. If she's more into dry humor, mirror that energy. For example, if she mentions that coffee keeps her alive, you could respond, "Are you sure it's keeping you alive, or are you secretly a superhero?" This keeps the conversation interesting and builds a shared rhythm where you can enjoy the exchange. Adding an element of challenge injects excitement into interactions. A casual, "Guess my favorite dessert," hint, it's not cake, can spark curiosity and invite engagement beyond the typical small talk. Challenges like these create a game-like atmosphere, making conversations feel more dynamic and less transactional. It's a way to make her feel like she's playing along, rather than being interrogated with routine questions. Even small digital interactions can carry playful energy. Sending a funny GIF, using emojis creatively, or dropping a voice note instead of a text can break monotony and make messages more personal. These little touches add texture to conversations, making them think spontaneously and alive. The key to effective playfulness is reading the moment and calibrating accordingly. If she reciprocates, lean into it. If she seems confused or uninterested, dial it back and adjust your approach. The goal is not to perform, but to co-create an organic and enjoyable interaction. When done right, subtle playfulness makes attraction feel natural, leaving a lasting impression without forcing anything. It's not about trying too hard, but making connections feel effortless. One important aspect to remember is that playfulness should be balanced with sincerity. While teasing and humor create engagement, moments of genuine interest and emotional depth should not be overlooked. When a conversation is always light and playful, it may lack the depth needed to build a deeper connection. Being able to transition between light-hearted banter and maturity discussions showcases emotional intelligence and maturity. A great way to deepen the impact of playfulness is through storytelling. Sharing amusing anecdotes about your experiences, especially those that show vulnerability or self-awareness, makes you more relatable. Women appreciate men who can laugh at themselves without diminishing their confidence. For instance, recalling a funny incident where you tried to impress someone and failed endearingly can make you seem charismatic and approachable. Additionally, body language plays a significant role in playful interactions. A smirk, a raised eyebrow, or a knowing glance can communicate more than words ever could. Light, non-intrusive physical cues, like a gentle nudge or a playful high five, can reinforce the chemistry in face-to-face interactions. When used appropriately, physical playfulness adds an extra dimension to attraction and can make the interaction feel more electric. Ultimately, playfulness fosters a space where both people feel free to express themselves without judgment. It removes pressure from interactions and allows chemistry to develop organically. Men who master this art exude a unique charm that sets them apart, making them enjoyable and irresistibly captivating. Mastering the art of messaging isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about understanding human nature. Every conversation is an opportunity to create a meaningful connection, whether with someone new or someone you've known for years. When we tap into curiosity, anticipation, thoughtfulness, and playfulness, our messages stand out in a world where most communication is predictable and forgettable. A well-crafted message isn't just about getting a reply, it's about making the other person feel something: excitement, nostalgia, intrigue, or warmth. Think about the last time someone sent you a message that made you smile. What was it about that message that felt different? It could have referenced a shared moment, caught you off guard in the best way, or simply made you feel seen and appreciated. Those are the kinds of messages that deepen connections. And the best part is that anyone can learn to craft them. It's not about memorizing scripts or following rigid rules. It's about approaching conversations with authenticity and a genuine desire to engage. The key takeaway from all of this? Thoughtfulness, humor, and curiosity are powerful tools in communication. They make conversations flow effortlessly and leave a lasting impression when used naturally. So the next time you pick up your phone to text someone, take a second to think, how can I make this message stand out? How can I make this interaction more meaningful? A little extra effort can go a long way. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever sent a message that got an unexpectedly great response? Or maybe you've struggled with conversations that felt one-sided or faded out too quickly. Share your experiences in the comments. I'd love to know what's worked for you and what hasn't. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's much more to explore regarding human connection, and I can't wait to dive deeper with you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Going no contact will make a woman come crawling back. They assume that silence alone is enough to make her regret leaving. But here's the truth. Disappearing doesn't make you powerful. Evolving does. This video will break down the psychology behind regret, attraction, and emotional control. You'll discover why true power isn't in avoidance, but in transformation. Why emotional mastery, rooted in Stoic principles, triggers regret far more than desperation ever could. And why is walking away with purpose the only move that shifts the dynamic in your favor? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to turn the tables, not through manipulation, but through becoming a man she can never replace. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end, because I'm sharing the most powerful strategy. Let's dive in. But first, here's something you need to understand. Emotions are often the worst enemies of power. For men navigating relationships, the ability to control them is essential. Reacting emotionally through anger, sadness, or despair is the quickest way to lose control of the dynamic between you and a woman. When she feels like her actions dictate your emotional state, the balance shifts, and what once made you attractive begins to fade. Women are programmed to test men's emotional resilience, whether consciously or unconsciously. They expect a reaction, they anticipate emotional turmoil, and in many cases, they judge their attraction to a man based on how well he handles himself in moments of uncertainty. But the key to psychological dominance isn't faking indifference or pretending not to care. It's genuine detachment from the emotional chaos that relationships can bring. A man who maintains his composure, who doesn't chase, beg, or seek validation, fundamentally alters a woman's perception of him. He transitions from someone who needs her presence to someone whose value exists independent of her. This is a powerful shift, one that creates both mystery and attraction. It signals to her that he is a man who is focused on his mission in life, a man whose purpose extends beyond the approval or affection of any single person. A true Stoic doesn't just act like he's unaffected. He genuinely remains unaffected because his sense of self isn't tied to any external force. If a woman chooses to leave, he doesn't crumble or make desperate attempts to pull her back. Instead, he continues forward, unmoved, unwavering in his focus. This unshakable sense of purpose often causes a woman to rethink her decision. A man who reacts emotionally to her absence reaffirms her choice to walk away, but a man who continues as if nothing has changed becomes an enigma, someone she begins to question and ultimately miss. Women don't regret leaving a man who falls apart without them. They regret leaving a man who doesn't need them. The absence of an emotional reaction forces her to reconsider and reflect on what she may have lost. When she sees that he hasn't reached out or tried to mend things, she wonders whether she made the right decision. The psychological impact of this is profound. When a man holds his ground, maintaining his emotional control and sense of self-worth, he creates an opportunity for the woman to come back. Not because he manipulated her into doing so, but because she realizes on her own that she underestimated his strength. This is what true emotional mastery looks like. It isn't about suppressing emotions or acting robotic, but understanding that your feelings should never dictate your actions. A man with this level of control exudes confidence and power, making him irresistible in the long run. Instead of seeking closure, validation, or reconciliation, he simply exists as the best version of himself. In doing so, he naturally attracts the right kind of attention. This self-control not only shapes his temperament, but also directly impacts the charisma he radiates. Attraction is not built on love alone. It is fueled by the power, the uncertainty, and the unspoken tension that makes people curious. The moment a woman is sure of a man's commitment, when she knows he is hers, the spark that once excites her begins to fade. This is not a character flaw, nor something she consciously tries to control. It is human nature, a deeply ingrained response to the certainty that strips away the mystery and unpredictability that fuels attraction. Men often believe that showing unconditional devotion will make a woman feel safe and secure, ensuring her affection in return. But safety is not the foundation of attraction. Mystery is. A woman does not lose interest in a man because he loves her too much. She loses interest because there is no longer anything to figure out, nothing left to uncover. The unknown is what stirs desire. The challenge of unraveling a man's emotions, of wondering whether he is fully committed or still somewhat elusive, creates the tension that keeps her drawn to him. This is where the psychology of reverse attraction comes into play. The instinctive reaction to being ignored or abandoned is to chase. Upon realizing they have lost a woman's interest, many men attempt to disappear entirely, thinking absence will create longing. But women do not regret losing a man who fades into the background. They regret losing a man they miscalculated, a man who remains present yet elusive, engaged yet emotionally untouchable. It is not about vanishing but becoming an enigma that cannot be fully predicted or possessed. Transformation is key. Instead of repeating familiar behaviors, change the pattern. If she expects you to be constantly available, become less predictable. If she assumes she understands your every move, introduce an element of unpredictability. Remain visible in her world, but shift your emotional energy elsewhere, towards self-improvement, new ambitions, or social expansion. Let her see a version of you she has never fully grasped before. This subtle but powerful shift unsettles her. It forces her to reconsider the confidence she once had in your devotion. It is not about playing games or being manipulative. It is about reclaiming the power lost when you became an open book. Women crave emotional engagement, but also uncertainty, an element of the unknown that keeps their minds occupied. A man who is too available, too eager to please, becomes predictable. A man who is confident in himself, who carries a sense of mystery and depth, is someone she cannot fully grasp, and that is what makes him irresistible. The essence of reverse attraction is not to disappear, but to become someone she cannot easily define. It is about shifting from being a man she takes for granted to one who occupies her thoughts, not because he forces his way into her life, but because she is drawn to the uncertainty he represents. When a woman regrets losing a man, it is not because he begged her to stay. It is because she realizes she never fully understood him, never wholly had him, and that is a regret that lingers. That's why the aftermath of a breakup can be so painful, leaving you questioning your worth and wondering if you could have done things differently. But the truth is that the biggest mistake you can make after a breakup is to stay the same. When you stay the same, you confirm that she made the right decision to leave. There's no growth, no progression, and nothing to make her rethink her choice. If you want to create reverse attraction, you can't dwell on regret. You must become a better version of yourself, someone she can't easily forget. If you want her to regret walking away, you must evolve into someone she never saw coming, not just emotionally, but in every aspect of your life, mentally, physically, and professionally. This transformation will make her question everything she thought she knew about you. It's not about revenge or playing games. It's about becoming the best version of yourself that you didn't even know was possible. When she inevitably checks on you later, you want her to see a man who has leveled up in every way. She should notice that you're more confident, booming, and self-assured than when together. This kind of transformation is the kind that catches people off guard, including her. It's not about waiting for her to regret losing you. It's about making her realize that the person you are now is someone she can no longer attain. Regret doesn't stem from missing someone, but from realizing that person has become untouchable. When she sees that you've moved on and built a life that is bigger, better, and more fulfilling than before, that's when regret creeps in. It's the realization that the man she once knew is no longer the same man she can reach out to. He's evolved, he's grown, and now he's a person who demands respect and admiration. The key to this process is shifting your mindset. This isn't just about physical appearance or superficial changes. It's about transforming the way you think about yourself and your life. Focus on your ambitions, your goals, and your purpose. Become someone who is driven, passionate, and determined. Invest time in yourself, whether that means pursuing new interests, developing new skills, or diving deeper into your career. Your inner transformation will be reflected outwardly as you build confidence in these areas. But don't just stop at career or physical changes. This level of growth also requires emotional maturity. Take the time to reflect on the lessons you've learned from the relationship. Embrace the reality that everything happens for a reason, and that you have the power to create a future that is brighter and more aligned with who you're meant to be. Don't let the breakup define you. Instead, let it be the catalyst for your reinvention. Over time, when she looks at you, you want her to see a completely different man, the kind of man who is no longer available in the way she once knew. This is how you make her regret. It's not about making her feel bad, but showing her that you are a man who is no longer defined by the past, but is shaping a robust future. This will leave her wondering if she made a mistake, not because of what you did or didn't do, but because of who you've become. And that's where one of the most potent psychological factors comes into play: social proof. When a woman decides who's worth her time and attention, she's often influenced by cues from her environment. Humans tend to desire things that are sought after, which applies to material goods and relationships. If she sees other women attracted to you, she'll start to doubt her decision, Was she too quick to move on or keep her distance? This principle is deeply rooted in human psychology. The more desirable something is, the more we want it. One of the worst things you can do after a breakup is isolate yourself. It sends a signal of desperation, of someone clinging to a past that's slipping away. But thriving in social settings is a decisive move. It shows you're not just waiting for her to change her mind. You're active, engaging with the world, and, more importantly, demonstrating that you have value outside of the relationship. It shows that you're in demand, that your life is complete, and that you don't need her validation to feel good about yourself. This is where social proof comes into play. The more people see you interacting with others, whether on social media, through mutual friends, or simply by being seen in public, the more they notice. When a woman sees others recognize your worth, she must pause and reconsider. The dynamic has shifted. Others now know the man she once thought was easily replaceable as valuable. She starts questioning her decision and wonders if she's made a mistake. High-value men don't remain alone for long. This is a key distinction. While isolation may feel like the safe option after a breakup, it's unattractive. Women sense the shift when a man transitions from mourning to thriving. The man who once seemed available and predictable now carries an aura of mystery and allure. His social life, a whole of interactions, keeps him from fading into obscurity. The key is not to force this process, but to let it unfold naturally. Social proof isn't about flaunting your worth in a way that feels desperate. It's about being your authentic self and letting others see what you bring to the table. This authenticity speaks volumes. Whether through casual outings with friends or sharing your successes and experiences on social media, let her see that you're not waiting for her to return. You're moving forward, living your life, and the fact that others find you interesting, desirable, or valuable only adds to the allure. As she notices this shift, she will feel a sense of competition. Subconsciously, she'll begin to realize that others may value you in ways that she didn't. She may even feel a twinge of regret. This is the moment when her attraction to you can reignite. It's not about playing games or making her jealous, but about positioning yourself as a man not defined by one person's opinion or affection. By thriving in social environments and surrounding yourself with positive energy, you allow your worth to be reflected in the eyes of others, and this powerful psychological dynamic can make her reconsider her choices. Women are attracted to men valued by others, and when they see that other women are interested, it triggers an emotional reaction. She'll begin to see you in a new light. The more you're seen as someone desirable and thriving, the more your attraction will grow in her eyes. It's the subtle power of social proof at work, making her doubt her decision and wonder if she made the right choice. So, a more subtle strategy will be more effective instead of trying to get her attention directly. In relationships, it's tempting to believe that physical affection or constant communication is the key to winning someone's attention back. However, one of the most powerful tools you can use to win her back and keep her interested is strategic coldness. Not complete silence, but calculated indifference. Not only does this indifference take her by surprise, but it also creates a psychological state that is the opposite of the certainty she once had about you. While no contact may be a common tactic, it's expected, which makes it less effective. On the other hand, strategic coldness is unexpected and creates a psychological tension that keeps her hooked. When you respond to her, do so briefly, confidently, and emotionally neutrally. Avoid showing any signs of desperation, and don't react impulsively to her texts or calls. Instead of being emotionally available or overly friendly, remain unreadable. Doing this creates an air of mystery around you and compels her to think about you even when you're not around. The more you pull back emotionally, the more she will wonder whether she ever had any control over you. The beauty of indifference is that it doesn't just push her away, it challenges her. When you maintain a calm, detached demeanor, you force her to confront that you no longer need her validation. This creates a power shift. As she begins questioning her ability to sway you, she'll start becoming obsessed with regaining that control, wondering what changed and why you're no longer as emotionally available. Imagine this scenario. She reaches out, but instead of responding with excitement or eagerness, you reply in a way that's short, confident, and completely unbothered. There's no rush to please her or seek her approval. You've learned that when you remove the emotional weight from your responses, you make her work harder for your attention and shift the emotional dynamic in the relationship. She becomes curious, even intrigued, about your newfound self-assurance. In many cases, the reason women lose attraction isn't necessarily because of what you do, but because of how emotionally available or needy you seem. When you display indifference, you're not ignoring her, but also not bending to her every whim. You're showing that you have a life of your own, full of confidence and control, which makes you irresistible. Genuine indifference is powerful because it's rooted in strength. It comes from knowing your worth and not seeking constant reassurance. It's not about playing games or acting cold. It's about learning to control your emotions and actions. When you master the art of being emotionally detached calmly and confidently, you stop being the one chasing or yearning for validation. Instead, you create an atmosphere where she's the one left questioning her next move. Ultimately, strategic coldness isn't about manipulating or playing mind games. It's about standing firm in your self-assurance and letting that energy speak for itself. By remaining emotionally independent, you'll notice that her interest in you grows more substantial as she becomes more curious about the man who's no longer emotionally swayed by her actions. Because attraction isn't a straight line, it doesn't operate on the simple reciprocity rules, give and get something in return. For a woman to truly pursue you, she must fear losing something she values. That's why understanding the psychological dance of attraction is key. The delicate balance between piquing her interest and deliberately backing away. The mistake many men make is either chasing too soon or withdrawing altogether. Both of these actions are predictable and ultimately create a sense of boredom or frustration. When you chase too early, you place all your cards on the table and no mystery remains. Conversely, withdrawing too much can make you seem disinterested or even evasive. What you need is unpredictability. This is where the rhythm of interaction comes into play. Think of it as playing a game of tug-of-war. But instead of pulling with full force, you create an ebb and flow of connection. Engage her with enough interest to keep her invested, but then pull away just enough so she feels the void. Give her small but meaningful responses that show you're interested, but when she starts to expect them, retreat. This momentary distance is where mental friction occurs, the place where attraction and curiosity are born. Human psychology is wired to seek validation from things that seem just out of reach. If something feels too easy, it loses its value. When you become unpredictable and aren't always available or on her schedule, you become more valuable in her eyes. The chase becomes hers as she works to earn your attention, approval, and time. This shift creates the perfect storm for her to chase you. But it's important to remember this isn't about playing games. It's about balancing your emotional energy in a way that keeps the interaction dynamic. Don't constantly be at her beck and call. Create space for her to wonder about you and question your interest. And in that space, she'll realize how much she values your presence. This approach isn't about manipulation, but understanding that attraction thrives on mystery and challenge. The more you let her feel the desire to chase you, the more she'll invest in the relationship emotionally. She'll begin to chase not because a string is leading her along, but because you've made her feel you're a prize. Mastering the art of making her chase you isn't about being elusive for the sake of it. It's about knowing when to pull back just enough to let her come forward. Your unpredictable rhythm will draw her closer and help you maintain control of the dynamic, keeping the attraction burning strong. But there are times when, instead of pulling back to create attraction, you must make a more decisive move. And that is, be willing to walk away. If you are not the one taking the initiative, but are stuck in waiting and wishing, you will lose your attraction. The most powerful move a man can make in any relationship is to walk away without hesitation. It is not about giving up or being mean. It is about reclaiming your sense of power and independence. Too often, men find themselves lingering, hoping for a change of heart, waiting for a woman to come along. This behavior, while rooted in hope, is ultimately self-defeating. It puts the woman in the driver's seat and gives her control over your emotions and decisions. But when you walk away without further thought or express true detachment, mentally and emotionally, you shift all the power back to yourself. Women are accustomed to men who remain hopeful, stay close, and are always ready to chase or fix things. But a man who walks away without a glance back is a rarity, and that rarity is powerful. Nothing is more magnetic than a man who knows when to step back. Leaving without hesitation signals that you are not desperate and don't need her approval to feel whole. Your life is complete with or without her. That is a force of attraction women respect and secretly crave. In these moments, when she tests the waters, sending a message or liking your post on social media, your indifference speaks volumes. You don't react. You don't chase. You don't show any sign that you are waiting for her to make a move. This is where many men falter. They mistake silence for weakness or indecision. But in reality, it is a demonstration of strength. It's a signal that she no longer has the power to dictate your actions, that your life and emotions are yours to control. A sense of regret starts when she realizes she no longer influences you. She will wonder if she made a mistake. Was it too late to change things? Was she wrong to let you go? This internal struggle is where the shift begins. As a man who has walked away without looking back, you become memorable, not just in her mind, but in her heart. You've set yourself apart from every other man who has clung on, hoping for a miracle. Instead, you've taken control, asserted your worth, and walked away with dignity intact. The key is understanding that walking away is not about abandonment or escaping the situation. It's about self-respect and recognizing when it's time to move on. When you do this, you don't just walk away from her, but toward a better version of yourself. You walk toward a future where you control your happiness, no longer waiting for someone else to define it. And in doing so, you regain your power and make a lasting impression on her that she won't soon forget. But what happens when you're faced with the void she leaves behind? When a relationship ends, it can feel like your world is falling apart. The desire for closure, the urge to prove a point, or the need to somehow get even with her can be overwhelming. But what if the best revenge isn't confrontational or spiteful? What if true power lies in something much more subtle, something that doesn't require words or actions to prove your worth? The greatest revenge is not proving a point, but achieving undeniable success, Women often expect men to fade quietly after a breakup. They anticipate silence, perhaps some lingering bitterness, but not the resurgence that leaves them questioning what they lost. Instead of engaging with her, trying to win her back, or pleading for validation, the proper way to reclaim your dignity and power is by focusing entirely on your growth and self-improvement. This isn't about impressing her, it's about becoming the best version of yourself for your own sake. When you put your energy into advancing your life, whether through career achievements, fitness, or pursuing your passions, your transformation speaks for itself. She may see your progress through social media or hear about it from mutual friends, but it's not about showing off. It's about silently living your life in a way that she can't help but take notice. And here's the thing, it triggers envy. As she watches you thrive, she'll begin to realize that you're doing just fine without her. She might even start to wonder if she made a mistake. The more she sees you improving, the more she'll recognize what she let go of, and the void that remains in her life. True power comes when she realizes she let go of something irreplaceable. The confidence you display by moving forward, by becoming a better man for yourself rather than for her, is magnetic. It may not win her back in the traditional sense, but it will open her eyes to the fact that you were and still are a man worth keeping. Success, real success, is silent. You don't need to shout about your accomplishments or make a spectacle of your growth. If you need to prove how much you've changed or how much better you are, perhaps you haven't grown yet. The most impressive thing you can do is move on quietly, without needing her approval. How you carry yourself and thrive in the aftermath of the breakup will be the loudest message you could send. In the end, your silence becomes the ultimate revenge. It's not a game, it's about showing her and yourself that you are stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever before. And when she realizes there's nothing more powerful than watching someone you once let go of find success and fulfillment on their terms, the ultimate goal isn't about trying to get her back. It's about becoming someone she can never replace. Regarding relationships, women don't regret losing just any man. They regret losing an extraordinary one. The key to this lies not in simply being affectionate or loyal, but in becoming a man who is irreplaceable in every sense of the word. Being loyal, kind, and affectionate are good qualities, but aren't enough to set you apart in the long term. What makes you stand out, what makes you unforgettable, is your sense of purpose. A high-value man isn't defined by how much attention he can give, but by the mission he is driven by. A man with a clear vision of where he's going in life, who continuously works on himself and strives to make an impact, is the kind of man who leaves a mark on others, especially the woman he's with. A man who is constantly evolving and who pursues his passions with relentless commitment cannot be swayed by the validation or approval of others. This includes the woman he cares for. While a woman may provide comfort and affection, those things can be found elsewhere. What is irreplaceable is the energy, drive, and ambition of a man who is relentlessly pursuing his goals. His growth isn't dependent on her, his purpose fuels him, and this purpose doesn't bend to the whims of any one person. To truly make her realize the weight of losing you, you don't need to try and manipulate or force her to see your worth. It's not about begging her or pleading for her attention. Instead, it's about becoming someone who she can no longer have access to in the same way. When you focus on your mental, emotional, and physical evolution, she'll feel the space between you growing. She'll feel the weight of losing someone who is not just loyal, but has an unwavering sense of direction and purpose. Imagine a man on a mission that drives him to wake up every day with passion. one that doesn't need approval to keep moving forward. This man becomes magnetic, not because he's trying to be, but because his existence demands respect. His growth, pursuits, and ambition become so absorbing that the woman who once had him may realize she can never find another man who embodies the same depth. When you become the man constantly evolving, not defined by the relationship but by a greater mission, you show her the irreplaceable nature of who you are. It's not about playing games or trying to manipulate her feelings. It's about living a life so rich with purpose that losing you becomes a loss she can never recover from. So, instead of winning her back through desperation, focus on becoming the version of yourself she could never have again. When you grow into someone extraordinary, live with purpose, and chase your goals with everything you've got, you set a standard she'll never be able to replicate in anyone else. You become the man she regrets losing, not because of who you were, but because of who you are becoming. Most men believe that no contact is the key to making a woman regret leaving. But true power comes not from silence, but from transformation. A high-value man does not disappear into obscurity, he evolves beyond recognition. Emotional control is everything. Women expect a reaction: anger, sadness, desperation. But the moment you detach, you shift the power dynamic. Genuine indifference is far more potent than avoidance. Attraction is fueled by uncertainty, by the enigma of a man who refuses to be predictable. Walking away with purpose, thriving socially, and rebuilding yourself into someone unrecognizable, these moves leave a lasting impact. Women regret losing a man they miscalculated, a man they thought they could replace but never honestly can. When she sees that you have not only moved on but leveled up, the weight of regret sets in. Success is silent. The ultimate revenge is not proving a point, it's becoming undeniable. A man with purpose does not wait for a woman to validate his worth. He defines it himself. The question is not whether she will regret leaving, but whether, when she looks back, she will realize she never had a chance to begin with. What do you think? Have you experienced this transformation yourself? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more insights on relationships, psychology, and personal power.